the pair. Listen to the people. Listen to humanity. Listen to the parrot. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot. Listen to the people. Listen to humanity. Listen to the parrot. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Listen to the people. Listen to humanity. Listen to the parrot. Parrot TV. 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 Parrot TV.
The Literary Corner, brought to you by New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity. Hi, welcome to New York Parrot's Literary Corner. I am Dustin Pickering, your noble and honest host. We have episode 210 today. We have a return guest, Sharon Kimmelman, who would like to take a look at her previous interview back in July, and it's on our website. So Sharon Kimmelman is a Pushcart Prize nominee in poetry. She has been nominated for Best of the Net 2018. Her publication credits include Vita Brevis Press, Spillwords Press, Fine Lines, Love of Food Magazine, Poetic Musings E-Zine, Yasau, A Celebration of Life E-Zine, The Poet Magazine, ILA, The New York Parrot, Passion of Poetry, and multiple anthologies since 2018, several back cover blurbs, and a delightful dozen Sparrow Productions poetry videos based on her poems. Let Peace In and The Stars I'm Wishing On have been the basis for two original songs. Let Peace In was the framework for an extraordinary poetry video. A portion of the proceeds from the sales of the iBook and the coffee table poetry art book versions is guaranteed to an organization in the USA which rescues and trains dogs to become PTSD service dogs, a cause very dear to the poet's heart. Jill's passions include reading aloud, cooking from the heart, theater, lively book discussions, and photography of food and flowers. Her culinary arts background is evident throughout her poetry and in conversations. She lives in Delaware, USA, with her husband, Tim, and is a proud mother of her son, Jordan. And today she is going to be telling us about her release and her promotional activities for You Are the Poem, which is her recent collection of book of her poetry with fabulous artwork, beautiful artwork. I'm going to pull up the description right now and read you the description. It's the Welcome to You Are the Poem, a 3-themed collection of poetry, timeless love, an eclectic mix and looking back, inspiration and wisdom gained from my poetic journey. My heart's gift, poems of celebration, joy, hope, bonds of precious friendship and sisterhood, bridges built with our love of language, a treasure for passionate foodies and photographers. Those are the words of Jill herself, Sharon Kimmelman, and that's the cover there of You Are the Poem. What a fabulous artwork there, fabulous photography work. Jill is on the program, and this is her book, You Are the Poem. This is going to be coming out here. I'll let her tell us a little bit about the book and what makes it special. And why she chose to write it. So, Jill, how are you doing today?
Hi, Dustin. First of all, I just want to say thank you so much for having me back. And secondly, congratulations on reaching 200 episodes. It's my great honor to be the 211th. Is that right?
210.
210. Good number.
Pretty close.
Okay. That's
nice even number.
Yep.
Excellent. Glad to have you back.
It's terrific on such short notice, especially. I'm thrilled. I can tell you all about the book. As far as writing it, I can describe the kinds of things that happened during the writing.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has everyday obstacles.
Mm-hmm.
We all have things that happen. I would say that during the writing, though, of this book, the obstacles that I had to overcome to bring this book gloriously to life, and I have to say that there's never been anything in a 6x9 paperback that remotely resembles this book. And there are so many reasons why. And I do think of it as a gift to my readers. I've been associated with a lot of other people's, other poets, their work, I've been writing back cover blurbs for the last couple of years, and I've suddenly become the it girl for that, which is fun, but everyone thinks I already have a book. And finally someone said, you really need to have something of your own. And so I sat down in April and decided to go ahead and work on this vision that I had. And I was fortunate enough to be offered the opportunity to work directly with Lisa Tomei, who
Mm-hmm.
I knew before, and she's with Prolific Pulse Press. And I
Mm-hmm.
cannot tell you how amazing it is to have a poet as your editor and publisher when you're doing not only your first book, but a poetry book. That is a plus that there are no words for. It's incredible. So if you run something by her that's in a poem, she'll never say, no, that's not part of what I do. Absolutely never.
Mm-hmm.
She will help you edit your poems. If you're struggling, you bring it to her and you say, I have tried everything. And some of the poems in this book are rhyming poems. Definitely not something that I usually do. I'm a free verse poet. In this book, for some reason, though, they began to rhyme, soft rhymes,
Mm-hmm.
nothing I struggled with. But once I realized it was happening, I became aware of things that I never had to pay attention to before, like rhyme and meter. Flow,
Mm-hmm.
always. There are rules in free verse. You write poetry, so you know. There are
Right.
definitely rules, but there were more relaxed rules, and the
Mm-hmm.
flow and the natural line breaks tend to replace traditional punctuation. So I was combining rhyming rules in essence with a free verse style, and you will see that in this book. So sometimes I did go to Lisa and say, I just need help here. And she was right there. As far as the book, it is divided into three themed collections, as you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
The each one begins not with a page that says the name of the collection, but something very unique. We created collages. We created collages as if you were moving in a gallery from one collection to the next with a theme. And in the beginning, there are beautiful um, things that are going to help you in your journey through the poems. Not, I had no wish to illustrate poems unless it was to enhance and to enrich and to make the reader's experience far more wonderful. And that's why There are original photos. We took the time to frame and mat each one. If we found something that wasn't original but absolutely fit, you'll see a couple of those, but very few. And then I was fortunate enough to have one done by Lisa herself, which is in a poem that I actually spent a bit of time with you during our last visit focusing on. It's a poem called Death of Humanity. And Lisa included it in this volume with a magnificent drawing of a little girl in her mother's or grown up lady's shoes. She was prideful and she was wobbly, and Lisa caught it magnificently. And we took that and framed it as a full page opposite the beginning of the poem. So that gives you an idea of the presentation. There are also original paintings. I found an artist in Pakistan. She was a former architecture student. When COVID hit, everything changed for her. Everything changed for all of us around the world, but for her, her education opportunity stopped. So she began illustrating poetry books, and that's how we found her. And the connection was immediate. It was incredible.
Wow.
And so you'll see two magnificent, very detailed, I mean, down to the tiniest one, paintings. One is actually for the title poem, and You Are the Poem, and one is for another beautiful poem about the final hour of a young wife's life. And it's based on a true story.
So you have a promotional event coming up. Can you tell us about where it is, what it is, and what your plans for it are?
I have a number of events coming up.
Excellent.
I knew well in advance the date, which we moved. So I should say that. The date of the launch is November 13th, and that is a Saturday, and that's at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you're in the UK, that's going to be 7 o'clock. If you're in Nigeria, that's going to be 8 o'clock. And if you're in India, that's going to be 11:30 p.m. I try to include as many time zones where I have poetry friends as I could. Obviously, some people are going to miss it in Southeast Asia, friends in the Philippines, but it will be available. It will be recorded, and you'll be able to see that on several different sites. In mine on Facebook, and of course, Prolific Pulse Press has it on their YouTube channel and on their website and on their Facebook as well. So sign up early. The Zoom launch event is going to be promoted about within a couple of days before the link goes up. And the link is going up on Sunday, November 7th. What we found, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You can keep going.
I was just going to say that what we learned was if you send out invitations or post a link too soon, it just gets lost in people's calendars. So if we invite someone, it's not from a list. It's individuals that we know and would want to enjoy it. So we will be emailing invitations, and any of your subscribers who are interested, all they need to do is contact me, and I'll be more than happy to make sure they get a personal invitation. for the link, because I understand from a few people that this book has been long awaited. And my dear friend Sarfraz is calling it the must have poetry book of 2021. So the word's getting out about this book. And that's pretty amazing for me.
It is. It's great. It's wonderful to see. And you said this is your first full collection.
This is the first time I've ever done a book. Yes.
Wow, interesting. So it's very exciting when you put out a book. I've put out about 9 or 10 of myself, and the first one is always like, it's always really exciting. It's like, it's immense. And it's already seeing that there's already a buzz going around, and you've already got people interested in putting it in their bookstores and so forth. And that's really remarkable. It's interesting. I'm curious why the title. What You Are the Poem? Where did you come up with that?
There's two things. One is a bit more obvious in that as poets, we all see we're alert, we're aware to the poetry in moments. We everyday ordinary moments, we find things to celebrate. And most especially as we've all been in lockdown and we've all been through in our separate places, yet we're united. And the global, I'm hugely impressed, constantly overwhelmed by the joy and the encouragement and the love and the support and the bonds of lasting friendship that you make in the global poetry family. And I think that everyone found, it was almost as if there was a chorus of, we need to address to people that are following us or discovering us. We need to show them that even in the darkness, there's light and there's hope. So there's a sense of optimism that runs through this book. It's a celebration. And that's really important, is the optimistic tone of the whole book, all the collections.
So is that kind of optimism, is that central to your own nature, or did you make a conscious decision to be an optimist in the poetry?
I believe that it is. I've included a tale of survival. I've included moments where it was incredibly dark, and then what you see in the last stanza or verse is some type either open-ended so the reader can make their own decision, which is always a great way to end, or you kind of wrap it up in a neat bow sometimes to let them know that this was indeed a triumph over tragedy story, and the underdog came through. And those are celebrations that are larger. Then there are celebrations that are smaller. I've got one poem which I would never have spent the time working on, but I got a gift of an orchid plant a little over a year ago for my birthday. And trying to keep that thing alive, I had no idea that that bare stem, after 2 months, I mean, it was a lavish, gorgeous, beautiful gift. And 2 months later, there wasn't a single blossom. And I just kept following the directions, which said, feed it one ice cube twice a week. And that's what I did, even though the stems were bare, the leaves were still green. And that's what I decided to follow, was the leaves were still green. And ultimately, about 8 months later, I happened to see a bud, and then a flower, and then a bud, and then a flower. And right now I'm seeing it and it's had 9 fully open blossoms for about 2 months now. And
Wow.
that's a small, everyday kind of miracle,
Hmm.
but I caught it in a photograph. We framed it magnificently. We put it in the book and called it Small Miracle. It's not a
Wow.
big deal, but it represents
Right.
hope.
And it's, you can find a lot of great poetic, stuff from just everyday life, you
Right.
know, and that's part of the process. I mean, you don't have to be writing about everything. It doesn't have to be big, oriented, big wise,
Exactly.
cosmology or, or
Right.
any, major questions. It could be just, simple things in life, just a poem or daydreaming or,
Mm-hmm.
just, flowers, as you mentioned, it could be a good subject, just something that you see something much more in the process than you
Right.
see than most people see. It's like a different angle you would take to see what you see, and you see the small miracle in this process, and it's presented in the poem, which is it gives people hope and thought and
Exactly.
moment to reflect.
That's exactly what I believe. Not only did I do that, I think that almost it was an sort of an unspoken
Hmm.
thing. But if you go from poet to poet in this great big global poetry family, what you
Hmm.
see is a change during the last couple of years in the issues that we choose to address,
Hmm.
in the goals we have with our poems, because we all want to present to our readers the fact that we're all in this together. We're
Right.
going to beat this. So let's show them. Let's give them the opportunity to be inspired. Let's present them with images that, not only physical images from beautiful artwork, but more
Hmm.
importantly, since it's a poetry book, the images within the poems, and let them, the reader, create their own ideas and let the metaphors speak to them. And I think that's just the idea of carrying through an optimistic tone. Just that's so important. And that's something you
Absolutely.
see throughout.
Well, we're going to take a brief break and check out these wonderful videos, and we'll be right
Okay.
back with some of Jill's poetry.
In 6 Days, a poem by Jill Sharon Kimmelman. In 6 days, pristine snow will fall again. The air will be filled with the scent of newly arrived winter, frilling the ground, creating lacy patterns with our shoes. In 6 days, we will share warm, made from scratch cocoa. Discover a delight in devouring whispery confections of buttery toffees and chocolate truffles. In 6 days, we will crawl beneath our wedding ring quilt, holding hands to catch each other's dreams. The tangle of our limbs, a perfect jigsaw puzzle. Morning dawns, and in 6 more days, we will join together, at last, perfectly remade. In 6 days, a poem by Jill Sharon Kimmelman. Seduced by Jill Sharon Kimmelman. I had always privately scoffed at the notions that a lover's touch could truly cause fair skin to blush, that a single kiss bestowed could render one silly, sly with desire. Such things found in poems and novels were nothing but crafted fiction, or so I thought. I know better now. My skin still carries the imprint of your touch. With the brilliance of clarity, I recall the taste of sweet and savage kisses. Pleasure beyond any imagining still sings within my veins, sweeter than any nectar upon the tongue, and louder than the fiercest pain. Seduced, a poem by Sharon Kimmelman.
Well, I saw two different sides of you there, Jill. How do you feel about those works?
Those were a complete surprise. I had no idea. That's great, because I need them on my almost ready to go author pages on Goodreads and on Amazon. So I'll be contacting you on where you located all that stuff.
Excellent. Yeah, it's a journey to find good material.
Thank you. If I'd known that you wanted something, Lisa has a beautiful video that she put together that gives you an idea of what the launch is going to be all about. Because I have special guests from India, from Nigeria, and also from the US. I even have a non-poet guest who's one of my dearest friends, and she's going to be sharing. She lives in Michigan. She's going to be sharing a poem that I wrote for her. I'm so hoping that my friend from India, she's not well, and I'm hoping that she'll be fine and able to join us, because she wrote a magnificent poem called a caged bird sings another song. And she wrote it, as you can tell, inspired by Maya Angelou. And I take great pride in being the one to introduce her to the work of Maya. And one day, out of the clear blue sky, I get a message. Maya has a toothache, and only I would know, the two of us would know what she was talking about. But it was wonderful to see her embrace this amazing woman's work. And she was not familiar with it. In India, she literally devoured every book. So I'm excited. I hope she's a very close friend, and I hope very much that she's able to join us for the launch. She was going to recite that poem that was made into a Sparrow video, and she was going to recite one that I wrote for her called Missing Your Poet's Voice. So we have some great plans for the launch.
Excellent. Sounds like a really intriguing event. Would you like to read us a couple of poems live right now in front of the audience? So we saw a couple of nice videos there, intriguing different takes of your persona, your poetic, move, and then so we can now hear your own reading, in front of us.
Thanks, Dustin. This is the newest piece. It literally just got into the manuscript, and it is for Annette Tarpley, who also gifted me with that beautiful cover design. I took the photograph last summer, and she was looking at it, and she looked at some of the cover designs that we had come up with, and she said, before you go revealing that everywhere, could I play with it a bit? And she stayed up all night and the result was so beautiful. And we thought we had it. And every time we thought we had it, she'd say, I have another one.
Mhm.
So it took days. I said, do you think that um, anyone like Emily Dickinson or Charlotte Bronte or Elizabeth Barrett Browning ever thought about things like covers and fonts? And Lisa said, I don't think anyone's paid as much attention to every detail as you had, Jill. So it was really easy to say, yes, I approve of this because I was part of 99% of it. And I'm so grateful to have had an editor publisher who let me in on all of that. So this one is for Annette. It has never been heard before or seen anywhere. I was going to save it for the launch, but since you were so nice, I'm sharing it today.
All right.
Okay, it's called Contemplation of a Phoenix in Flight for Annette. On the wings of doves you fly. In freedom you have found an extraordinary voice. Celebration of your journey's path is freedom defined. In the stillness of tranquility, your words returned. A whisper within your heart, at first you denied. Incessant, gentle nudges you avoided until you could no more deny those words, in those impassioned pleas, then you could stop your heart from beating, your lungs from breathing, your pen from bleeding. Every brilliant word, crafted sonnets and stanzas, awaited, welcomed, inspiration accepted. Your declaration, drafted in tears while haunted by fears, now an affirmation of strangers everywhere. Celebrate freedom earned, blessings of lessons learned. Like the lotus, your greatest gifts grew greater in the ooze of mud. You are a magnificent phoenix with plumes of every hue, the grandest of dreams now yours to pursue. A vibrant blossom ablaze with fiery gems, your magical words. A beautiful phoenix soaring, tall, strong, proud, no doubt at all. Most magnificent of birds, most beautiful of all.
That's a fabulous tribute there. That's full of images and thoughts, and language is really nice. It's really it's very plain spoken, and but yet it has a lot of vividness to it. Thank you so much
I'm
for
glad
sharing.
you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like reading. I like hearing you read it. It to me brings it alive.
Thank
So
you.
if you'd
Wait
like,
until you hear Annette read it. She has just a magical recitation. It's a
oh
gift.
wow.
So, yeah.
Would you like to share another one with us?
I Sure, I have one. As I say, this was another one that I was going to save, but since I'm here, I will
Hmm.
read it. There is a story behind this, and it's, I
Okay.
guess, important to share. Like most poets, I do understand the benefits of writing in first person, whether it's your memory or not. whether it's your story, whether you have anything to do with it at all, makes no difference, because your reader identifies with you more quickly if you begin in a first person narrator's voice. This
Mhm.
poem was extremely hard to write because it is, in fact, deeply personal, probably the most personal poem I have ever written, and I couldn't be as objective as I needed to be. So I went against what I normally do, which is write without anybody else's input. I read aloud and then I decide and I tear it apart and start again. This one, I felt I had done the best job possible. I took it to Lisa. She helped me a bit. I ran it by another friend who I hope will be a guest shortly on your show. And then I took it to my beautiful protege in Nigeria. She's been a guest, Elizabeth
Mhm.
Ogamundade, and my Lizzie. And she has an incredible ability for insight and empathy. And what we share is so magical. She knew exactly where my heart was with this poem. And we worked it out in a Zoom session late. It must have been 3 a.m. in Nigeria. And she had to get up for school. But she gave everything she had to me. And this poem was finished. It's for my dad. His name was Jack. My name is Jill. The poem is called For Jack from Your Jill. My dad passed away when I was 18 years old. You live inside my heart, whisper sage wisdom every day. My imagination soars as never before, spiraling beyond all earthbound dreams. You longed for my happiness, for your daughter's sweet smile to return, your compass a father's pride, to find the perfect man, to learn who I am, adore me, worship me as you did in turn. Somehow you knew just how it would unfold. From love-driven desire, you envisioned it all. How the dance would lead us, how the chips would fall. This tale of love unveiled itself just as you foretold. First, you had to find him, not an easy task. Then to understand his journey, anticipate the questions only you knew I would ask. Education, profession, each met your highest bar. Gave no hint of challenges ahead. Would he make your dreams his own? Make me his shining star? He had to be a man of honor. Surely you had no doubt. My kindred spirit, a perfect love. What exactly was this guy all about? A man of the backwoods, his camera never far. Images of forest paths, midnight starry skies. You searched deep within his soul, sought to embrace the lamentation of his plaintive cries. His heart was but a satchel for his unheard pleas, along with prayers, plans, schemes. Yet hope lived on. It flourished, emboldened by his dreams, living each day within love's tapestry, basking in its golden glow. Like fine wine, a love enriched by age, like Yeats' poems, each more beautiful when we turn the page. We are pieces on life's board of chess, each move an answered prayer, deliverer of dreams. Once I was your very own princess. Now I am his newly crowned queen. You would love him, Dad. Be proud to call him son. His love, his true. He treasures me as the rare gem you always said I am. Though we can never go back, if only we could. I must tell you this fact. What an extraordinary gift it has been to be the Jill to your Jack. When my time is nigh, I know I will not be alone, for you will be there waiting, arms open wide to embrace me, reclaim me, joyously welcome me home.
Thank you so much, Jill. It's wonderful. Another tribute. We all of us have fathers, and I think we can all relate to a lot of what you said there. So, what would your final word be to our viewers today?
I would love you to buy the book. I would love for you
Excellent.
to have that experience. I think that it would be not only another poetry book to add to your personal collection, but something you would truly be proud to give as a gift
Mm-hmm.
from cover to cover. So many surprises, so many beautiful poems, so many beautiful images. Um, it's a delight. It looks like a gift. It's my gift to all my readers.
Mm-hmm.
Make it your gift to your loved ones.
Excellent. So, I'm sure you have a few thank yous and shout outs you'd like to give.
Absolutely. I do. Thank you. I wasn't oh, that's the first time that I ever read that poem aloud other than to myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope I did it justice.
That's good.
I would like to thank Lisa,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely 100% the best editor publisher that I could have ever imagined. And as we worked together, we became closer and closer. And even when I was contemplating another publisher, someone who would have self published my book, which would have been a mistake for me, um, Lisa made me beautiful little stationery cards with a picture of that front cover. The only thing missing was Annette's design. Simply a beautiful lavender card with the cutout of that photograph. Somehow we were destined to bring this book to life together.
Excellent. Yeah,
So I'd
absolutely.
like to thank Lisa. I would definitely like to thank my husband, who has been in the hospital. He
Mm-hmm.
enters his 7th month tomorrow. He's
Okay.
not been able to be as involved as he'd hoped, but his support is every day. And I think
Mm-hmm.
there's not a doctor or nurse in the whole hospital that isn't either waiting for him to leave so they can stop hearing about Sharon Kimmelman, the poet, or they just adore him. and do want the book truly. I'd like to thank my dearest friend Annette Tarpley for gifting me with the cover, for writing the forward, and for being there for each other. Sarfraz for writing the back cover blurb, and the amazing surprise of so many friends offering to make comments about a book that's not yet anywhere. And
Mm-hmm.
that would include Zan Johns and Luna Deity and Dustin, you're in there too.
Mm-hmm.
And if I missed anyone, it's so important to me that everyone know you're definitely part of my journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share this book. And it's coming out, You Are the Poem, on November 13th.
November 13th. We'll keep an eye out for that. So remember that there's also some promotional events online. And if you're interested in those,
Yes.
get in touch with Jill and she'll inform you on how to join those groups. And that'll be a good time. You'll enjoy it and it'll be fun and interesting. And you'll probably hear some wonderful poets and poetry being read. So thank you so much, Jill, for joining us again today. And as I said, she was on the program back in July. If you want to go back to that episode and get another glimpse at Jill's work and herself, feel free to do that. We would actually be more than grateful for you to look at our past episodes. Since episode 210. So we've been on a long journey. It's been since March we started this program, and we're so glad for all those who've been supporting us and helping us out. And remember, you can still help us with donations to our PayPal, which is paypal.me/nyparrot. As you see there, support this program, paypal.me/nyparrot, and you can donate as you see fit. $10, $5. $25, whatever you think is, you have to spare. We'd love to help us out with our production and our various quality, and improved things. And $1,000 will be great too if you have $1,000 to spare. We'd love that. 3,000, going here. But anyway, and also another way you can support our program is to be a guest and to suggest guests to us. And you can get in touch with me, Dustin Pickering, at literarycorner@newyorkparrot.com. And you see that right there at the bottom of the screen. Write that email down and keep it in mind and share it with your friends and share our content. Like, share, and love our content on Facebook. And make comments on our YouTube and give us a thumbs up. And if you don't like us, give us a thumbs down. We'll catch you. We'll catch you when you're sleeping. Just kidding. Just be honest with us. We want to hear what you have to say. So anyway, then also the anthology is coming out December 1st. So if you have not heard from me and you believe you should be in the anthology, let me know. I've tried to email absolutely everyone. One guest, fire free. If you're watching this, please get in touch with me. I lost your email. So please do get in touch with me and let me know how I can get you involved in this anthology. It's due out December 1st. The deadline for submissions is November 15th. So keep that in mind on your calendar. And, we keep emailing reminders out, and I'll keep you guys informed as to the process as it's going along. We'll be sitting there at Thanksgiving dinner, eating turkey and having some gravy and spilling it all over the manuscript. It'll be a very colorful manuscript. So just kidding. Anyway, just keep watching the program. Subscribe to our YouTube. Blink, blank, blank. There you are on the red button there on the subscribe to our YouTube. We'd love to have you as a subscriber. So without further ado, just go ahead and tell people about us. Just keep us out in this public spotlight of the Facebook and so forth. And buy this book. You Are the Poem. Take a look at it. It's without a doubt, it's going to be beautiful, excellent collection. And you've heard Jill's poems today. So, it's just she's got a very varied mind and a varied set of topics and some beautiful artwork in this book. So please do look at it and keep an eye out for it in your local bookstore or at Amazon. And you can also support us by buying our anthology. And you can buy Series 1 of The Literary Parrot. So this has been the Literary Corner episode 210. We've mastered the universe at 200. Now we're at 210. Now these guys are coming to us and bowing to us. They're like, how did you make it to 210 episodes? Well, we just did. So, anyway, thank you for joining us on the program, Jill, and keep an eye out for further programs. We'll be back tomorrow, and have a great afternoon. Get to riding.
Listen to the people. Listen to humanity. Listen to the parrot. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot. Listen to the people. Listen to humanity. Listen to the parrot. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Parrot TV. Listen to the people. Listen to humanity. Listen to the parrot. Parrot TV. 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 Parrot TV.
The Literary Corner, brought to you by New York Parrot